Welcome to the 10 or use management marketing in any way. Anyone that didn't want to try to anybody? Oh,
Hi,
wow.
Elizabeth.
Okay.
You may want
Let
to
me
come
see if I
again. It was really lagging.
can fix it now. Okay. Let me see if I can fix that thing audio. Is this better?
Oh, yes, it's better now.
Or, or having technically bear with me, you benefit session anyway, right? You have people who have expressed their need to, join project management, but they just don't know how to go about agile project manager that understand different types of projects that we have, because I know a lot of us, when we hear project management, we often think that it is, it has to be tech related. So just make sure to share the link to this session with them. I promise it's going to be an interaction. So I'm going to introduce myself, right name, and we are joining us from in that box. So just put the box. Let's get to meet ourselves.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I trust we're doing well. So, what you want to do right now, as we expect Elizabeth to be back now, is you just want to drop where you're joining us from. So, it's a virtual session and we have people from all over the globe. So, you just want to put your name, where you're joining us from. And if it's your first time joining it in Analytics Masterclass, you want to put it one. If it's your second, you want to put it two. So let's just get to know ourselves before we have Elizabeth back with us. So please throw in your introductions in the chat box. I'll be very happy to. All right, we have Linda from Atlanta, USA. Interesting. All right, so yeah, I need the chats. I need the okay. I have Priscilla from Ghana. Interesting. Please, I need more introductions. You know us. You know what analytics is about. We want to get to know you as well. Okay. All right. I have Ola from Manchester. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, Ebere says, how can we use Trello? Not to worry. That's the reason we are here today. We'll be walking you through step by step so you understand everything you need to know about Trello and how to get started as an agile project manager. All right. Um, we have Ola from Manchester, United Kingdom. We have Obi from UK, and this is Obi's first time joining its analytics masterclass. Interesting. All right. So Elizabeth is back now, and you just want to get started. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Sophia. Please confirm that my audio is better now.
Very audible. You have the floor.
All right, thank you so much. So I could see a couple of people already introducing themselves in the chat, but so far I only saw Obi put a one. So if this is your first time joining a 10 Analytics Masterclass, I want you to put a one in the chat. If this is your second or your third time, you can put a two. Or the people that are already part of the family, and we know people that is just joining us. Okay, Linda says three. Linda is an OG, apparently. Okay, so if you stick with us till the end of this session, my colleagues are going to be dropping a link in the chat. It is very, very important that you fill the link to the attendance form. Now, why is that important? We're going to be working with Trello today. And in order for you to get the recording of this session, as well as the slides that I'm using right now, because I also have a lot of wonderful, wonderful resources linked on the slide. You want to click on that link that my colleague Ubong and Sophia just dropped in the chat. It is very important. That's the only way we'll be able to get the materials across to you. All right, so we're going to be learning how to use Trello for Agile project management as a marketing team. Okay, first I will introduce Tenalytics. Who are we and how do we do what we do? All right, Tenalytics is a leading educational technology company, and we are focused on providing specialized training in technology skills and also delivering comprehensive data consulting services. So we are also an organization that is in the consulting space. Now, for the past over 5 years, we have spent that time building a lot of talent for the technology workforce, and we have helped over 3,000 people, professionals with no prior experience in tech transition, not just from the classroom, but into their very first job in tech across the UK, US, Canada, Europe, Africa, as well as Asia. All right, we are committed to making the technology sector more accessible to people who look like us, people of the Black community, through premium training in data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, cybersecurity, AI engineering, and finally, the star of the show, the reason we're all here today, Agile project management. Now, we have a team of wonderful, wonderful instructors from leading global companies like PwC, McKinsey, Amazon, and Microsoft. And these instructors bring a wealth of real experience, real world experience, and they're also dedicated to delivering an engaging and practical learning experience that would ensure that you're able to get the maximum value from your investment with us in the future. Who's this person that has been speaking to you for the past, 10 minutes? My name is Elizabeth Nana, and I'm a product manager as well as a senior agile project manager here at Tenalytics with half a decade of experience in both product and project management. So I am a coach for agile teams, and I've, been able to successfully guide over 1,000 individuals with no prior agile experience into making a smooth transition into project management. So I've trained these professionals across 4 continents, and my experience also spans multiple sectors, including the health tech, fintech, as well as the educational technology sector, where I have been able to apply my deep knowledge of agile methodologies. Now, enough about me. What are we doing here today? All right, so first we're going to learn how to incorporate agile till the end of the session. Now, remember, the links that my colleagues are dropping in the very, very important. Okay, so you want to make sure that you fill that link, very important, so that you can get the recording of this session, as well as the slides that are being used for the session. All right, so just to know if you're still with me, if I still have people listening to me right now, I want you to put your favorite emoji in the chat. Just put an emoji, any emoji at all. Thank you, Ubong. Anyone else? Is it just Ubong that's listening to me right now? Anyone else? I'm not going to move on till I see emojis. I want to make sure that I have people listening in. All right. Thank you so much for that, Sofiat. Okay. So let's just, move on with the session. Thank you, Chemo Graphics, as well. So like I said, if you stick with us till the end of the session, you are going to be getting access to the slides as well as, the recording of this session. So just make sure to fill the attendance form. Now, let's start with why marketing teams struggle with project management. Now, I said it earlier that a lot of times when people hear project management, they usually just think that it is tech. Oh, I have to be building a product. Oh, it has to be a construction project. But the truth is, a lot of us on here, I'm going to say or assume that the people on here were here because, we are all aspiring project managers or we're trying to upskill. You are probably just used to the traditional project management, and you're trying to upskill because that is where the money is. We're trying to leave old school and pivot into agile. Now you can 100% be a project manager in a marketing team. And it is also very hard. Marketing is very, very intense and very hard. They have a lot of campaigns, ads that are currently running, always running and having to plan around. And traditional, just traditional project management, it gives chaos because it's very, very rigid and it's not adaptable, it's not flexible, especially when you have shifting priorities, which is, often the case in marketing. Now, marketing goals change fast. There's always a new campaign. There's always a new trend on social media that, the team wants to follow. There is always a new thing that the client is demanding. And this can suddenly shift direction. It happens all the time. I love to tell people that, projects rarely go as planned. You set out to do one thing, and then, at the end of the day, midway into the project, the client has changed their mind, the team is running helter-skelter. So how do you provide structure to a situation or a scenario like this? Right? That is exactly why we want to use Agile, in marketing teams. Now, the next reason why, sorry, just give me a minute. The next reason why marketing teams struggle with project management is because of poor visibility. There is no clear system. And a lot of times, team members lose track of what they're supposed to be doing, right? If you just have to have a meeting with your team members and assign tasks and then just forget about it and leave them to it, there's 100% chance that, things could get lost in translation, right? Or they forget about some of the tasks that you actually assign to them, and what this would lead to is duplicated efforts because person A could be working on a particular task. And because person B is not even aware that person A is already doing it, that person also tries to work on that task as well. Now, the time that that person would have used to work on something else would be spent working on the same task that another person on the team is doing. So poor visibility often leads to, duplicated efforts as well as missed responsibilities. And finally, missed deadlines. This is the most, common reason why marketing teams, struggle with project management. When you have your timelines and your dependencies, when I say dependencies, in project management, there are often tasks that depend on other tasks. I can't do this if this person has not done this yet. I can't start my task if this person has not completed their task. Now, when you have dependencies like this and timelines like this that are not being tracked properly, right, tasks will start piling up. Deadlines will start slipping and the team would start scrambling to catch up. This is often the case in a lot of marketing teams. Now, how exactly does Agile project management bridge this gap? Now, when we talk about Agile, Agile is about working in short, focused sprints to deliver measurable value quickly. That's exactly what it is in a nutshell. You want to work in something we call sprints. It could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks or 4 weeks, where your team is focused on, a specific set of, campaigns or tasks that they're working on. Now, the aim of this is that at the end of that sprint, if you're working on a 1 week sprint, for example, the aim is that at the end of week 1, we should be able to see tangible results. We should be able to see tangible value. Now, what this helps to do is it helps to streamline tasks, right? It helps to streamline responsibilities so that you're not just all over the place as a team. You need a team, what you're meant to be doing, and how exactly you plan to achieve it. So marketing teams can actually use Agile to break down large campaigns into manageable tasks. Like, a lot of things go into, campaigns. You have the marketing, you have the design, the graphic designer, the adverts, the analytics, tracking if the ads are working, and so on and so forth. So you can actually use Agile to break down all of these large campaigns into smaller, manageable tasks that look very easy to accomplish. Now, let's talk about how to use Trello for Agile project management. I know that's why a lot of us are here, and very shortly, I will be walking you through, what the Trello board looks like, and we'll work on a project, a very small and simple project together. Now, Trello helps teams to visualize their work, manage their tasks, and also collaborate in real time. Trello is the project management tool, one of the simplest ones out there, actually. And some of the core Agile features we have on Trello, we have boards, which I'll be showing you shortly, how to create a board. Now, when we talk about a board, we're talking about a project. How do you create a project on Trello? Then we have what we call lists, which are your workflow stages. So maybe your workflow is going to be, in to do, in progress, under review, and done. That's what you call this. Again, not to worry, you're going to be seeing it in real time shortly. And next, we have cards. Cards are the tasks that you create or the deliverables. For example, create Instagram ads. That's a card. We have what we call labels and checklists. I'm also going to be showing you what that looks like shortly. And finally, we have Butler automation. Now, I would not have the time to show you what this looks like because, again, this is supposed to be a very short session. But just know that whatever it is that you're seeing here tonight, is just a snippet of what you get to see, when you join the program. All right. Now, Agile is, perfect. Using tools like Trello, is perfect for managing sprints, managing stand-ups, and also tracking your team's velocity, even in marketing. So it helps to prioritize what will deliver customer or business value first. I always emphasize this. It's important that we know exactly what would help our customer, what would help us deliver value to our customer faster, right? We want to know what is the best task, what is the next best task that we can get into that would move the needle, that would help this project move forward. So we want to make sure that you're not wasting time, wasting resources of your team doing things that are not important to the clients. That's basically what it means. Then, Trello would also help you to hold daily check-ins, for transparency and progress. It will help you to be able to consistently check in with your team members every single day to know, okay, what are you working on? Have you completed this task? When will you complete this task? And so on and so forth. And Trello also helps, to continuously improve our team, our processes through review and retrospective. So let's not waste too much time. Let's jump right into a very short project, and then we'll be heading over to Trello to work on this project. So I want every single one of us on this call right now, listening to me, to imagine that you're an Agile project manager right now, and you're working for a marketing team that is trying to launch a new skincare product. Now, I always say there's different types of projects, right? It doesn't always have to be tech. A new skincare product is a type of project. Now, you are the project manager on this team, and we're trying to launch a new skincare product. And your goal is basically to create and deploy a social media campaign in 2 weeks, a successful social media campaign in 2 weeks. Now, what are the key deliverables for this project? You need to have your content calendar for the 2-week campaign. You want to have Instagram and LinkedIn ad creatives, like your designs, your flyers that you're going to be posting on Instagram and LinkedIn to run ads. You want to have your blog posts announcing the launch. And finally, you want to have your paid ad setup and analytics dashboard. Those are the key deliverables for this sprint. Now, what we're going to do together live on Trello is we're going to create a board and name it Skincare Campaign Sprint 1. All right. And then we start to create our cards. So let's just head right over to Trello. Now, if you're ready to go into Trello, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Again, I'm just, testing the temperature of the room. I want to see the people that are actually listening to me. Thank you, Sophia. Anyone else? If you're ready to move on to Trello, thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Linda. Fantastic. So now let's take a look at Trello and see what it looks like. Now, once you create Trello accounts, this is basically your dashboard or your home. This is what you're going to see. All right, now you see Elizabeth's Nana's workspace. This is my workspace. It's called Workspaces on Trello, and you're able to create a new board. Now, remember I said your board represents your project. Now, it's very, very simple again. Right here at the top of my screen, you see this blue icon, this blue button that says create. If you're looking to create a new board, you just want to click on this, create. Now it's going to ask you, do you want to create a board from scratch or you want to start with a template? Now, another thing that you need to know, especially as a newbie, is that Trello has a lot of templates that you can use. All right, so if you're just starting out, you don't exactly know what you're doing, you don't know how to start, there's always a template that you can use and just edit to your taste. But right now, I'm going to select create a board from scratch. So we see exactly what the process looks like from beginning to end. So I select create a board and it's going to ask me, again, fully customizable. It's telling me to choose the background, what I want my board to look like. So I'm just going to pick this just to make it beautiful. And this board title. So if we remember, we said we're going to call it skincare. In a minute, let's put the name in skincare campaign sprints. That's what we're calling this board, right? So then you just want to go ahead and click on create and just give that a few minutes to load up. It's going to create your board for you. And just like that, you have a board. Now, remember, I talked about the lists on Trello. I talked about lists representing your workflows. Now, Trello is just prompting me to create my first list. So I'm going to call this one to do. Now you can call it whatever it is that you want. I always say as the project manager, you're the CEO of your processes. All right. You can decide to call it things I want to do. You can decide to call it things I have not started. Whatever it is that you want to call it is fine. So I called my first list to do. I'm going to call the next one in progress and click on add list right here. I'm going to call the third one under review and click on add list. And then I'm going to call the fourth one, let's say completed or done. Let's put done and click on add list. So I'm done. This is just what I want. Again, just know that you are able to do as many or create as many lists as you want. You have the option to add more lists here, but I'm just going to be working with 4. Now, the next thing that I want to do now is to start creating my cards. Now you can see it right here that we have a prompt. You see this plus icon right here on my screen that is just prompting me, to start my card or to add a card. Now, I told you that, the cards basically represent the tasks or the deliverables that you want, to do. So we're going to start our first card. We're going to call it draft the content calendar, because remember, that is one of our deliverables. So draft content calendar and click on add card. And just like that, you just added a new card, right? And you are able to drag and drop. That's how Trello works. So once this task is in progress, you are able to drag this card to in progress. And just like that, it updates itself. Now let's move it back to do and let's create more cards. So the next card that we want to create is design Instagram creative. Design Instagram ad creative. And I'm going to click on add card. The next one we want to do is write product launch blog posts. Now, I want you to realize or just to know that you can actually use Trello for anything. You can use Trello to organize your day-to-day activities. You can literally use this as your to-do list. Whatever it is that you want to do, you're free. You can actually use Trello to do a lot of things. So let's say write product blog posts. And we're going to stop here. Now, I want to show you the other features that you have on Trello. I'm going to try my best to show you as much as I can within the short period of time. So now we're going to click on one of these cards. So I'm going to pick the draft content calendar. Now, once you click on a card, it opens up the card. And here you have so many other features that you can explore. So right here, there's a menu right here on the right hand of my screen. Okay, I'm just going to confirm once again that I have people following me. If you are following me, put an emoji in the chat. If you have been following me so far, you have seen how I created my board, how I went ahead to create my list as well as my card. Put an emoji in that. Okay, Jennifer says yes, she's following. All right, Sharon, thank you so much. Fantastic. Now you have a list of different, features that you can decide to explore. Now, if you want to add if you want to add a due date to this card, you see this dates feature here, you're able to just select that and then say, I want to add the start date as today, 16th of October. And I'm saying that this card is due tomorrow, 17th of October. So what I've just done is I have chosen a due date for this card. So let's just give that a minute to update. Let's try that again. Start date is 16th and the due date is 17th. Let me do that here manually. So I can also decide to set a reminder to say Trello should remind me, 1 hour before my task is due. So just in case this task was assigned to me, right? 1 hour before it is due, Trello should send me, a notification or an email to say your task is almost due so that you can hurry up and try to complete it. Now let's just click on save. And here, just here, you can see the dates on the card. So now, as a project manager, it's very important that you're able to add due dates, to your tasks so that whoever it is you're assigning to on the team, they know exactly when that task is due. Now, this is how Trello helps with transparency. Nobody has to call anybody to say, oh, please, when is my task due? Or nobody has to say, oh, I didn't know my task was due today. It is right there on the board. You can see the start dates, October 16th to October 17th at exactly 8:30 p.m., right? Now, we also have labels. You can use labels for anything. If you want to, use labels to signify a task that is high priority, you can select a label color, right? And I'm just going to call it something. So let me edit this and say high priority. So anytime you see a red label on a task, what it means is that task is top priority. I'm going to save that. So you can see the tag or the label has been added to it. So whoever has this task or whoever gets this task assigned to them, once they open up the board and they open up the card, they're able to see all the details. Now you can also go ahead to add more details. If this is a task that you need to explain, you can go ahead to add more details here in the description box just to make sure that whoever is going to work on this task understands it perfectly. Now, there's so many other things that you can explore here. You can decide to add an attachment. So if there's a document that you want that person to read so that they're able to understand this task, you can decide to add that here. If it's a screenshot, you can decide to add that here by clicking on attachment. And then you are going to be able to put a link. If there's a link to a document, you can attach a link to a document, or you're able to choose a file. If you have the file saved on your device already, maybe you want to upload a picture or something, you are able to do that. So I'm just going to upload a random image from my device. Just give me a minute. Let's see. So I'm just going to upload this. Give me a minute. I'm trying to upload an image. You're going to see that shortly. Right. So this was the image I just added, to my card. Now, there are so many things that you can do. Again, remember, you can decide to also add members. This is how you assign members to your board, to your task. Now, because I don't have anybody here, I just created the task. But when you see this option to add members, so if I wanted to assign this task to say Linda, right? If I had Linda's email address, I'd be able to select that, and assign this task to Linda. And just like that, Linda would get a notification, an email to let her know that I assigned a task to her. That is how simple, Trello is. Now let's close this card. You can see all of the details that I added to the card, the due date, everything. You can see that it has one attachment. You can see the red tag right here to show that this task is top priority. Let's do that to the second card as well. Now for this one, I'm going to add a medium or low priority to it. So let's pick, let's see. I want to pick a bright color. So let's pick green, and we're going to call green low priority. So now if I attach this tag to any card, Anybody that sees that will know that the task is a low priority task. So if you have other tasks on your list, you might want to start with those other tasks before you work on this one. All right. And I can go ahead to assign a due date to this task as well. So you're supposed to start today, 16th, and then you can finish the task on the 30th of October. So you can see that there's a lot of time for you to actually complete this task. And you can once again go ahead to set a reminder. You can say, okay, remind me 2 days before my task is due. So my card or my task is supposed to be due on the 30th. So please remind me on the 20th, just in case I've not started working on it. And just like that, I go ahead to save this and you see the dates right here. Okay, so you see that it's not highlighted in yellow like the other one because it's not something that will be due soon. Okay, I think there was a mistake with that. Let me try and edit start dates. Give me a minute. So the start date is supposed to be 16th. Okay, let's save this. So October 16th to October 30th. And I'm just going to go ahead to close this card. Now you can see the label on the card as well. Let me collapse this so we are able to see it properly. So you can see the label on this card. I'm just going to zoom in so it's easier for everyone to see. So you see the first card, draft the content calendar. You see the second one, design Instagram ad creatives. Now, once you assign these tasks to members, you're also going to be able to see the team member's name assigned to the card. Now, what happens when these people start working on the task? They simply come here and drag and drop. So once I assign this task to Linda, for example, and Linda starts working on it, she can just come here and drag this card from to do to in progress. And just like that, it's updated. Now, wherever it is that all the team members are in the world, even someone in Canada, when they open this board, they're going to be able to see that Linda has started working on a task. Again, transparency. Once Linda is done with that task and it is under review, she can once again move it to this point. And then it shows that, okay, Linda is actually done. We're just waiting for whoever is, whoever is in charge to review the task. And once it is done, it can be moved to done. Now, if whoever is in charge is reviewing it and then they spot some things that they don't like, they can as well leave a comment for Linda and say, please redo this content calendar, Linda. And she can be tagged. I'm just going to tag myself because I'm the only person on this board. Save. So they can add a comment once they're done reviewing to let Linda know, okay, this did not pass the check, all right? You have to redo this. And then, of course, Linda comes ahead to move this back to in progress. And that's how easy it is to use Trello, to manage your sprint end to end. Now, every single day as the project manager, you can meet with your team, have a meeting with your team and ask them, to give you updates on their tasks. So Linda can start telling you, oh, you know what, I'm currently working on the content calendar. I had finished it initially, but there was a problem with it and I had to move it back. This way, it makes it easier. You're sharing your screen. Everybody is able to see the tasks on the board, right? And then they're also able to give their updates. Now, if you have been following so far, if you learned a thing or two from this, because it was supposed to be very short, I think I have, spent a lot of time, just, put a yes in the chat, just so I know that you understood everything I just walked you through. Again, there's only so much I can squeeze into this session. Jennifer says, looks easy. It is easy, actually, Jennifer. Although I must tell you that, there are a lot more features on Trello that we cannot explore here. All right. But this is it, easy peasy. You are able to use this to track and manage your tasks, whether it is a marketing campaign, a construction project, a tech project, whatever it is, you're able to use Trello to do that. Okay. So now let's move on to the rest of the session. Now, if you'd like to have a recording of this session, as well as the slides that I'm using for the session, remember I said to make sure that you fill the attendance form that my colleagues put in the chat. Now, how exactly do you get started as an Agile project manager? Again, we just talked about Trello, but there's so many other tools that you would have to learn how to use. Knowing how to use Trello doesn't make you an Agile project manager. It's not enough. So how exactly do you get started? Also, a lot of people on here, we hear a lot of buzz about AI every single day. We're hearing about AI this, AI that, AI is coming to take over jobs, and so on and so forth. Right. So how are you actually sure that if you get into this, if you get into agile project management, your career is safe? At least for the next 5 to 10 years, you don't have to think about, switching your career, except you want to upskill. And that's like a personal decision. But you know that your job is safe because there's no AI coming to take over your job. And, the only way to know that is to actually listen to the people that matter. So right here on my screen, again, this is why it's important to fill the attendance form. I'm sure Sophia, Ubong, or Lydia, my colleagues, will be dropping the link in the chat again, in case you missed it earlier. All right, we have the World Economic Forum. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. This is something that is available to everybody on the web. You can go right here, get on your phone right now, go on Google and put in World Economic Forum, Future of Jobs Report for 2025. Now, what you can see on my screen right now is a snapshot of this report, right? And you can see right here what is highlighted. Project managers. These are the in-demand career paths from 2025, right down to 2030 at the very least. You can see project managers highlighted here. And I want to reiterate that this is not the traditional project management. We're talking of agile project managers now. Project managers that know how to use all of these tools, can use Jira, they can use Trello, they can use Microsoft Project, and so on and so forth. So you can be rest assured that, your career is safe at least for the next 5 years. That is something that, we're guaranteeing you. But again, I have the full report linked on my slide. So just make sure to fill the attendance form and then, you can have access to that. Now, who exactly is a project manager? So before I go ahead to explain this, I want to see, people who have this understanding. So Linda, I see a message from you. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. All right. Thank you for that. So I want to know, who is a project manager? When you hear project managers or project management, what comes to mind? I want you to just put it in the chat. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, we're here to learn. So who do you think a project manager is? Jennifer says someone who manages projects. Jennifer, that's the easy answer. That's the easy answer. All right, but you're correct. Someone who manages projects. Anyone else? When you hear of project management or project managers, who do you think they are? They ensure the success of a project. Thank you for that. That's Okweyemi. Michael says leads a team to execute a task. Fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead to explain exactly who an agile project manager is. Priscilla says someone who oversees and coordinates projects. So every single one of us, at least on some level, we understand what project management is, but it is so much more than managing or executing tasks. So who is an agile project manager? An agile project manager is a servant leader. Now, what that means is you're leading by example. You're leading by serving others. An agile project manager is someone who helps the team to work effectively within an agile framework. There's a framework. There are, core values and principles of the agile methodology that must be followed to the T. And that is exactly why the agile project manager is there, to make sure that the team is working effectively within an agile framework, ensuring that the project delivers value to the customer through continuous delivery, adaptation, and improvement. Now, when it comes to Agile, it is very important that you're flexible and you're able to adapt, which was why, we talked about the marketing projects earlier. For projects like marketing, and quite frankly, a lot of projects, what you start out to do a lot of times is not what you end up doing. Or, midway into the project, clients could come back and say, you know what, I need to do this, I need to do that. And I'm going to explain, I'll just explain different, clearly the difference between traditional project management and then agile project management. And I'm going to explain what I mean by adaptability. So just imagine that right now you are planning your mother's birthday, right? Your mother is turning 60 and you're planning a birthday and you want to surprise her with a cake, so you reach out to the baker, right? Now the baker in this analogy or in this example or in this little story of mine is the project manager, because again, different types of projects. So that cake is going to be a project to that person. So you reach out to the baker, maybe you place a call across, and then you tell the baker that you'd like to, make a cake. So the baker asks you for specifics, right? Oh, what type of cake? What flavor? Do you want vanilla? Do you want, red velvet? Do you want chocolate? Do you want a mix of all three? Do you want coconut cake? And all of that. So the baker is asking you all of these questions and taking it down. This person is writing down. You say, okay, I want an 8-inch cake. And the baker says, okay, do you want it round or, and you say, yes, I want a round cake. In fact, I want 3 tiers of cakes, right? The bottom tier should be chocolate, the middle one should be red velvet, and then the top tier should be vanilla. The baker takes all of this down. The baker asks you, okay, what type of frosting do you want? Do you want ice cream frosting? All of that fun stuff, right? And you tell the baker everything. Now, once the baker is done with requirements gathering, because that's exactly what the baker just did. The baker gathered the requirements from you. The baker wanted to understand exactly what it is that you wanted to do. So the baker has gathered these requirements from you. And then the next thing the baker does is to go to the market to buy the ingredients that are needed for this cake. All right. Now, when we talk about traditional project management, just to digress a little bit, traditional project management is very, very rigid and very strict. Now, a lot of times, once a project starts, as long as it is following the traditional project management, routes, it is very difficult to turn around. It's very difficult to say you have experienced a change of heart. It's very difficult to say, oh, I have a new change. Oh, I just thought of something. Can we do this? That is very hard to do. All right, when you're following the traditional project management phase, because every single phase or every single stage of the project must finish or end before another phase can start. So the baker has gathered the requirements. The baker has gone to the market to buy the ingredients for the cake. The baker comes back and starts baking the cake. Now the baker makes this cake. You requested vanilla, chocolate, and red velvet. The baker makes all three. You said round, 3-tier cake or 3 layers of cake, and the baker, starts to cut the cake and do all of that and starts to add frosting. Now, I want to throw a question to you, and I want to see responses in the chat. Once the baker cuts this cake, starts to put the icing or the frosting on the cake, even before the baker starts to put icing, as long as the baker has started baking the cake, if you call this baker and say, you know what, I no longer want red velvet cake, I no longer want red velvet, chocolate, and vanilla. Now I want coconut flavor. And I want it to be square shaped. And I want it to look like a football field. What do you think the baker is going to tell you? Anybody? Do you think it's very possible for the baker to just change your order just like that? Jennifer says they can't. Anyone else? Do we all agree with Jennifer? Anyone? Anyone else? Anybody at all? Once the baker has made the vanilla, chocolate, and red velvet cake, can you call this baker and say, I no longer want that anymore. Now I want a coconut flavored cake. What do you think is going to happen? The baker is going to ask you. Stella says no. I feel like the emphasis that you added to it. Now, the baker is going to ask you to pay more. Exactly. User says, yes, they can, but it will cost more. Now, it's going to probably cost you ×2 or ×3 because the baker has spent a lot of money going to buy the ingredients in the first place. And a lot of times when we talk about cost, it's not just your money, it's also the timeline. Imagine the baker was supposed to deliver that cake that day, and the baker has already made this cake, and you're calling to change and say, I want a coconut cake. Even if the baker asks you for more money and you pay, that person now has to go back to the market again. It's going to delay, it's going to waste time. That's an example of traditional project management. But when we talk about agile project management, it is breaking down tasks into small chunks. So you don't have to do all of it at once. And I'm going to use a very popular example. That popular example is WhatsApp. I'm sure a lot of us on here, we use WhatsApp, right? You just wake up, you're minding your business. You wake up one day and I see Stella. Stella says, is that scope creep? Yes, it is, Stella. Yes, it is. So you wake up one day and you just open your WhatsApp and you suddenly see a new feature that wasn't there last night. And nothing happened. The app did not crash, nothing happened. But you wake up and then there's a new feature. And you're like, we can now add, songs to our status. That's nice, and you start using it. And then tomorrow you wake up and then you see a new feature. It's channels now. That's exactly what agile project management is. Now it helps to push products or products into the market faster. because you don't have to sit down and think about all you want to build from start to finish. You can start with something. You can just start with something very little. If you remember way back when, I think WhatsApp has been on for about 15 years or more, WhatsApp started as a platform for sending messages strictly. I remember then, the hype was, oh, you don't have to use your airtime, to send messages to your friends. You can use your data, mobile data, to send money, right? Or sorry, to send messages. And that's how WhatsApp started. And before you knew it, we could now call our friends without having to use our airtime. And then they also introduced video calls, and then they introduced status updates and so on and so forth. Now, you agree with me that if WhatsApp had wanted to wait, in fact, I think a couple of years back, they introduced Meta AI, if that wasn't last year, because again, AI became the next big thing. People started talking about AI, and that's how they added Meta AI to it. Now, imagine WhatsApp was trying to sit down and plan everything about their projects from start to finish, right? The traditional project management way. That means even by now, we would still not have WhatsApp, because I can guarantee you that in the next 3 months, we'll have a new feature. And that's the beauty of Agile. You can actually do something small and push it out there in the market. You have people using it while you keep working on other things in the background. So as long as you are working on those things, in sprints, maybe you're done with a new feature, you can just push it to the application that people are already using. All right. I could finish this session right now and open my WhatsApp and see a new feature. That's because the project team, for WhatsApp has been working in the background, but it doesn't affect the current WhatsApp that I'm using on my device. That's exactly what Agile project management is. Being able to deliver value in increments. It doesn't have to be all at once, because that will take time. Something that you could have spent 3 years building, you can build a small or a simple version in 6 months and push that into the market while you keep working on improving that version. That's exactly what, Agile project management is. Now, what are some of the things, or what exactly is all the things that you need to do or need to know, in order for you to pivot successfully into Agile project management? Okay. Now, I've explained the role of an Agile project manager to you. These are the key learning areas. This is basically everything that you need to know. We're going to start with introduction to project management methodologies and structure. Now, we understand that a lot of us are coming from totally different, backgrounds, right? Some of us on here were nurses, doctors, we're working care jobs, and all of that. Now, you don't need to worry about your previous experience, because I'm here to tell you that project management is the simplest career you can get into in tech, and you earn a lot of money. All right. So if you're someone who you feel like you don't have a background in tech, you don't know how to, you're not even very familiar with using a computer, you don't know how to, you don't want to do anything too stressful or too hard, then Agile project management is for you. It's the simplest career you can think of, when it comes to pivoting into tech. Now, we're going to hold your hand every step of the way. So this program is absolutely beginner friendly. All right, we start off with introduction. We introduce you to the concept, the project management methodologies. I just talked about the Agile methodology. Now we go in depth into Agile. We introduce you to the waterfall methodology as well, so you are able to tell the difference. And then also the Wagile, or the hybrid. Now that is a combination of both waterfall and Agile together. Now, we don't just introduce you to these methodologies, but we are also going to teach you how you can identify the best methodology for a project. Now, the truth is that Agile is not a one-size-fits-all. So sometimes you may get a project and you may need to blend the two methodologies or the two approaches together. You need to add, Agile and also waterfall. Now, how do you identify that project? How do you get a project and you look at this project and you say, you know what? I think the hybrid approach would be the best way to execute this project successfully. Now, we're going to teach you how to do that. So we're teaching you the methodologies, all three of them, and how you can identify what project, what methodology is best for. And then we go into the project management structure. Now, when I talk about the structure, I'm talking about your project lifecycle. What are the different phases that your project has to pass through, right, before you can consider that project a success? I'm talking from your project initiation phase. How do you initiate a project? How do you start a project? What are the documents, that you need to prepare? What are the things that you need to do? All the important activities, like, carrying out a feasibility study to actually, see the viability of that project in the first place, creating a business case, your project charter, your work breakdown structure, all these wonderful things that you need to do in each phases. Then you move on to the project planning phase where you learn how to plan a budget. And the beautiful thing about everything I'm saying is that you're learning them using projects. Okay, so you actually come into the classroom and you start working on projects, but this time you have someone to hold your hand every step of the way. You literally have somebody holding your hand and teaching you how you can go about all of these things. Now you're also building experience. Experience is very important. You're building experience and you're able to build a portfolio. I'm going to show you the portfolio of one of my students once I am done with this. And then we move on to project management skills and communication. So what are the skills that you need to have as a project manager? All right. There are skills that you need to have, your communication. What kind of communication channels do you establish with your stakeholders? All of these different things you're going to be taught. Then we go into the foundations of Agile and Scrum. So what exactly is the Agile methodology, right? And then what does it mean? What are the core values of Agile, the principles, how can we apply Agile? And then you also learn the different frameworks that you have under the Agile methodology. Now, I want you to think of Agile as a tree, right? You have a tree that has multiple frameworks. So Agile is the tree, is the umbrella, but you also have different frameworks underneath it. And then we do a deep dive into the two most popular frameworks that global organizations are using, and that is Scrum and Kanban. So you're going to be learning these two frameworks end to end, enough to get you, the title Scrum Master. I'm sure a lot of us have heard of Scrum Masters or seen Scrum Master job openings. Now you're going to learn the foundations of Scrum, everything that has to do with the Scrum framework, like your Scrum artifacts, your increments, your sprint backlog, your product backlog, how to write Agile user stories, how to break down requirements for your team. Okay, because the truth is you get a brief from the project, from the project sponsor, the owner of the project. But it's not like you just collect that brief and then you hand it over to your team. No, because when you do that, they won't understand what the deliverables are. So it's now up to you to break it down for your team members in a language they'll understand. So you are breaking it down that way so that you can put it on the Trello board, on the Jira board, on the project management tool that you're using to track. So just the way we broke down our marketing campaign earlier into 3 different tasks, right? Of course, in an actual project, you have more than 3 tasks. You could have as many as 50 to 100 tasks. So you want to be able to break down all of these tasks so that the people you're assigning them to, they understand exactly, what you want, what you mean, and what the client wants from, the team. And that's where user stories come in. Then you're also going to learn end-to-end use of Jira, Confluence, and Trello in projects. Again, I told you earlier that what I was showing you was just a snippet, a tiny bit of what you can use Trello to do. Trello is such a powerful tool. An even more powerful tool is Jira, all right, which is the elder sister of Trello, right? And you have all the wonderful features that you can play around with. Now you're going to be learning how to use all these different tools end to end, to track your project. You learn how to use draw.io to carry out your critical path analysis, to understand the duration of, tasks or of a project. Then we move on to Kanban boards for workflow management. So I mentioned earlier that you're going to do a deep dive into the 2 frameworks. You have, you have Scrum and then you have Kanban. So once you're done with Scrum, you then move into Kanban, learning the Kanban framework end to end, what a Kanban board is and how to use it and where it applies. And then we move on to Agile metrics and reporting. Now, these are the metrics you're able to use to track the health of your projects. How healthy is this project? Are we on track? Are we behind schedule? Are we ahead of schedule? Is my team being productive enough, right? Are we slacking? Are they problems with our processes? Now, these metrics are metrics like your velocity, your burn up charts, your burn down charts, your lead time, your cycle time. Now you're able to run a tight ship, all right, with these metrics, because you're able to see, you don't have to go into an office every single day. Even if you never meet your colleagues, even if you are in Canada and the person you're working with is in the UK, you are able to gauge their productivity using these metrics. So that's why Agile metrics are very important. And also, we'll be teaching you how you can come up with reports, for your project sponsor, for the stakeholders on the team. Next, we move into leadership. Now we're teaching you how you can, manage or merge leadership and management, the two of them, in becoming an effective project manager. And like I said earlier, every single thing that you're learning here, you're learning using projects. So you are learning the real world application of all these different things. What is Scrum? You're not just coming to read a textbook, you're actually practicing it. Now, that would also help you build your confidence, help you build, your experience as well. And then if you're also looking to, take a professional examination, like your PSM 1 and 2, your CSM, your Prince 2, your PMP, this program also helps to prepare you for that professional examination. Now, here at Analytics, we have a blended learning approach. So you have a combination of live classes, just like this one, but now it becomes more interactive because then you're able to unmute your mic, you're able to raise up your hand and ask questions. You have live classes and then you have self-paced learning because again, we're trying to make it very flexible. All right. This is no longer high school and we understand it. People have lives outside of this program. You probably have children that you're taking care of. You probably have your work, your 9 to 5 or your shift job that you have to go to, to make money and put food on the table. So we want to make sure that you still have time to do all of those things. Even if you're currently studying for your master's, you still have time to do all of those things. And which is why we also introduced the self-paced learning. Now for the live classes, you have 2 live classes in a month. So 2 Saturdays out of 4 Saturdays in a month, you have a live class. You have 2 different timings for these live classes. Again, because we're thinking of your convenience, we're trying to make it very, very flexible for you. So you have the morning class, which is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And then you have the evening class, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Now, according to your location and your time zone, you are able to choose the most convenient class for you. So if you feel like, oh, you know what, I usually work in the morning, I will not be free in the morning, but I'll be free in the evening, you can choose the evening class. Now, if you feel like, oh, please, I have to work, night shift in the evening, but I'll be free in the morning, you can choose the morning class. And if for any reason you miss a class, right, you have access to the recording of that session here at Analytics. Every single session is always recorded. All right, you have direct access. You can just go into your classroom and you see the recording of that class as well as the class materials, every single thing that was used in the class, so you don't miss out. Now, what if you're watching these videos, you're watching the playback and you have questions? Now, there are 2 different avenues, actually three avenues to share, ask your questions. Now, upon, registration, you'll be added to what we call pods. Now, pods are really just, forums with your peers. So people in your class, we're going to group you so that you can also learn and study with them. So, sometimes there are things that you may not know that, someone in your class could. So if you have a question, you can put it in your pod and you have people that would assist you. So your pod is really just for you to study together. Now, you're also added to a closed WhatsApp group chat with direct access to your facilitator. Wants a fast response, you can go on your WhatsApp group chat and tag your facilitator on WhatsApp. Right there on WhatsApp, you tag your facilitator and then, let's see, you go on WhatsApp and tag your facilitator and then, that person responds to your question. Now, what if you want an interaction, a direct interaction with your facilitator? You want to ask a question. We have what we call drop-in sessions. Now, drop-in sessions are basically question sessions, all right? They're live sessions such as this, or mini classes where you can join, to ask questions and say, Elizabeth, I'm trying to do this on Trello, but what you showed us on the video, I wasn't really getting it. Please, can you show me again? Or can I share my screen so I can show you the problem I'm experiencing with my Trello or with my Jira? All right. Now you have these question sessions, these drop-in sessions, they happen 2 times in a week. So this is to show you that, like I said earlier, we're holding your hand every step of the way. We don't just leave you to learn on your own, right? When you're learning, you have questions, you can always come back to us here, and then we answer your questions for you. So you have drop-in sessions on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. West African time. And for Saturdays, when you don't have a live class, you have a drop-in session by 6 p.m. West African time. Now, you don't have to join both of them. Again, because of your schedule, you're able to choose at least one of them to join. But just rest assured that the recording of these drop-in sessions will also be made available to you. Now, what is the learning timeline for this program? It is 6 months. So you have 2 months, 6 months learning in class, and then 2 months of internship. In total, 8 months. But that does not mean you have to wait 8 months to land a job. All right, we've had people, a lot of different people actually, that have landed jobs while in the program. You don't have to wait 8 months to land a job. And I'm going to tell you how they were able to manage that shortly. Now, there are different careers that you can start upon completing this program. All right, you're able to become a scrum master, a scrum team facilitator, an agile coach, an agile project manager, a project coordinator, a lean project manager. The possibilities are endless. There's so many different careers that you can get into. You're not just boxed into projects. Oh, I'm a project manager, you're able to do so much more. You can become a project coordinator, you can become a scrum master, can become an agile coach, a lean agile coach, a scrum team facilitator, and so on and so forth. Now, you must build a portfolio to showcase your skill. Again, remember to fill the attendance form my colleagues are dropping, because I have right here on my screen, sorry, give me a minute to just show you what that looks like. Right here on my screen, I have the portfolio of one of our students linked here. Now, her name is Elizabeth. All right, let's just give that a few minutes to load up. Okay, just give that a few minutes. It's very slow. But now I also want to, while we wait for that to load up, I want to know if this is something that interests you. I mean, I've been speaking for the past 1 hour. So if you, with everything that you have heard, if you're convinced that you are, in the right place right now, I want you to put, a yes in the chat. Okay. I think there's something going on right now. If you're convinced with everything that you have heard, that this is the right place for you, I want you to put a 1 in the chat, or yes in the chat. Anybody? I'm not seeing any responses. No responses from anyone. Okay, I see Okpeyemi says yes, user says yes, Michael says yes, Del says yes. Very happy to hear that. Very happy to see that we know exactly what we want to do. So I'm not quite sure. There seems to be, it's okay, fantastic. Now we have the portfolio opened up. All right, so you can see a bio here. Of course, I'm not going to go over all of that over and over again. Once you get the slide, you're able to go over it at your own time. But then you're also able to see a list of all the projects that she worked on. So the platform right now is experiencing a glitch. Okay, so it's loading up slowly. All right, but you're able to see all the projects. Fantastic. A list of all the different projects that she has worked on, right? And all these projects, she actually worked on them while she was with us. She's not done with her program yet. Okay, now you can see this particular project, for example. You can see the overview of the project, what she did, exactly what she did, on this project, the tools that she used for the project. You can see Confluence, Jira, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and so on and so forth. And then all the projects are linked. So when she's submitting her portfolio, she's submitting a CV for, a job, and she attaches this portfolio to it, they're able to go through all the different, projects that she has worked on to be able to ascertain that she actually has the skills that they want. And now all of these different projects that you can see in our portfolio right here, were actually done with us here at Ten Analytics. Now, that's exactly what I meant when I said we're actually going to teach you, how to build your experience. We're going to bridge that gap for you because I always tell people there is nothing like entry level roles. Yes, once you're a beginner, but then when you're trying to apply to jobs, recruiters will always want someone who has at least 1 year of experience. So even when you try to package yourself, because packaging is also very important, and I'm going to be talking about the importance pretty soon. But even when you try to package yourself and you say, oh, yes, I have 2 years of experience, they're going to say, okay, Linda, if you say you have 2 years of experience, can you show some of the projects you have worked on? Now, if you don't have a portfolio, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And that's exactly why, we made sure that our training is project-based. So you actually get to practice all of these things, build your portfolio, build your experience. So it helps you to land a job faster. All right, let's go back to what we were doing. Now, if you are here, you're listening to me, and even after everything that I've shared right now, you are not quite sure that you want to be a project manager, or even if you know, but just for the fun of it, I want you to take this quiz that I'm going to be putting in the chat. So I'm putting a link in the chat right now. Just click on the link. It's actually a pretty fun quiz. It's going to take you about 2 to 3 minutes, and that quiz is going to help you figure out the best career path for you. All right. So you click on it. It's a very fun quiz, like I said earlier. You just answer a couple of questions, and then you'll be able to know exactly where you fall into. So even if you know that you want to become a project manager, just take the quiz just to be sure that you're on the right path. I just put the link to the quiz in the chat. All right. So make sure that you click on that link and to help you figure out the best career path. Now, let's take a look at some success stories. I'm not going to spend too much time here, to be honest, because we have so much success. We have a lot of them actually. And if I decide to start talking about all of them, we can be here for 10 hours. I can have a full session just to talk about success stories. All right, that's how much they are. So we're just going to gloss over a couple of them, but I decided to highlight some because I felt like they will resonate with you. Right, they're called success stories for a reason. Now, I want you to know that every single person you see out there started from somewhere. Elizabeth, that is speaking to you right now, also started from somewhere. I also had to take a training, right, to be able to impact this knowledge that I have, on people. So you also see people that you feel like they have their lives together, people that were able to transition, people that were able to pivot. Now, I'm going to use the story of Esther, just to also explain that. Now, Esther went from being a carer in the UK to becoming a project manager. And what's more, she landed a job while she was in the program. Now, if you remember earlier, I said that you don't have to wait 8 months to land a job. Now, what exactly did Esther do? And who is Esther? Esther is someone who had no tech background while she was in Nigeria. And she moved to the UK. When she moved to the UK, I'm sure this is a story that a lot of us on the score can resonate with. She started to, work as a carer. But Esther knew that she wanted so much more for herself, as I'm sure a lot of us on this call, within yourself that I can't do this for 5 years, right? There's so much more that I can do. So what did Esther do? Esther, started learning. She joined the Analytics Agile Project Management Program in April 2025. That was, just months back, right? Now, the next thing that Esther did was, she packaged herself with our help, of course. So we revamped her CV for her, showed her how to tailor her CV to fit a project manager CV. She joined all the mentorship sessions, and I prepped her for multiple interviews. Personally, I prepped Esther, and that is, also one of the services that we offer. It doesn't matter if you have 20 interviews. We're available to prep you 20 times, for those interviews. Now, Esther got prepped for multiple interviews. She was applying to jobs, applying to jobs on the Analytics job board, because that's another advantage that you have, especially if you're looking for a job that offers sponsorship. It goes way beyond LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor. We actually pay every single month. We pay a huge amount of money to get access to exclusive jobs that offer sponsorship. Now, when we get access to those jobs that offer sponsorship, we send them to you to apply to them. So of course, it increases your chances of landing a job, especially if you want a job with sponsorship, or you want a job that, you'll be able to work a hybrid schedule, or, be able to work from home fully. And on the 1st of July 2025, Esther landed a job with the civil service in the UK, working a hybrid shift. So she was Esther stays in Manchester, by the way. She got the job 4 months into the program. Now I want you to take a look at the picture of Esther on the left-hand side of my screen. I don't know if it's just me, but I can only see one head there. Now I'm telling you this for you to know that it is possible. There are people that have done it. There are people that are still doing it right now. It is very possible. Now, of course, there's a full testimonial. So you can hear right from Esther. You can listen to Esther speak, and talk about our experience with analytics. And it is linked here. So you can watch the full interview with Esther here. Once you fill the attendance form and you get the slides for this session, just make sure to click on this link and you'll be able to watch that video. Now, this is us just drilling down into, Esther's testimonial. Now, you must have seen a Sofiat, on this call. Sofiat is also, your potential program coordinator. All right. Now, she's one of the program coordinators here at Analytics. So once you register for a program, you get a program coordinator. That is somebody that will be helping you. That is like your accountability partner. That is like your best friend. That's the person you can run to with any small question. Please come and help me do this. Please, can you help me do this? Please, can you help me do that? All right. Now, this was when Esther, got the job and she was so excited. You can, just read through all of this and all the excitement and talking about how, the role that analytics played in helping her get this job. All right. So once you get the slide, of course, you want to go through it again. Now, of course, we have so many more, so many other success stories that we cannot take time to go over here. But I'm going to also tell you that your technical skills are not enough to land you a job. Whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Canada, your technical skills are not enough to land you a job. All right. Here at Analytics, we have something we call the job offer formula. It's pretty simple. It's what you can see on my slide right now. It is simply T plus E, addition, right? Your technical skills plus what we call employability skills. Now, employability skills are how you stand out in the job market. Your technical skills are your Trello, your Jira, your Draw.io, knowing all the Scrum practices, knowing how to write user stories. Those are your technical skills. But trust me, if you learn how to use Trello, if Jennifer knows how to use Trello, Linda can also learn how to use Trello. Ubong can also learn how to use Trello. Michael can learn how to use Trello. Someone called user on this call can learn how to use Trello as well. Lucky can learn how to use Trello. So how do you stand out? When you're applying for a job, as a project manager, and you also have 50 other people applying to the same job. How do you stand out? That's where employability skills come in. Now, we offer 8 different employability services. The first one is the CV review and revamp. Now, what we're going to be doing 2 months into the program is that we are going to review your current CV for you. We'll ask you to submit your CV. We'll review it and then we'll revamp it. We'll work on your CV for you and then send it back to you. Again, talking about packaging. Packaging is very important. So we are going to package your CV very well, also so that it is ATS friendly. ATS means applicant tracking system. That's what recruiters use. Any job listing you see out there, there's an ATS. Now, a lot of times we apply to jobs, we don't even get a call back, no feedback, no mail, no love letters, like I like to call them. When you get we're sorry to inform you, you don't even get feedback at all, right? And that's because without you knowing, the minute you clicked on submit, to submit your job application, there was a gate man, a security guard at the entrance of that, job application that's just flung your CV out the window immediately. You did not see this, you did not know it. Like you literally just clicked on submit and something threw out the CV. Now that is the ATS. So we're going to revamp your CV so that it is able to scale past the applicant tracking system, which is very important. The next is the LinkedIn optimization, sessions where we teach you how you can strategically position yourself, all right, to be able to land these high-paying jobs. Your social presence is very important. So we teach you how you can build in public so that, as much as you are out there searching for jobs, you also have recruiters, looking for you. And I know it sounds very strange to a lot of people, But you have recruiters looking for you. You're out there landing jobs or looking for jobs, applying to jobs, and then you're minding your business, you're going about your day, and you get, you know, a a notification on LinkedIn that someone is trying to connect, someone is trying to reach out to you, and they're telling you that we just came across your profile. We are actually very impressed with your profile and what you have on your profile. We have an opening in our organization right now. We don't know if you're available to come in. Now, personally, I cannot remember the last time I applied to a job. For the past 4 years, I've been getting my jobs on LinkedIn. Now, we also have a lot of our participants, that actually get approached like this. So how do you strategically position yourself to get all of these jobs? Now we move into navigating the job market. This is also a very important session. A lot of us here, we're moving into a terrain that we don't know. Some of us just relocated, even if you've been in the UK or in the US or in Canada or in Europe, in Germany for a long time, project management is a new field for you. So how exactly do you navigate that job market? Now we bring professionals, to come and educate you. No extra costs. All right. You have professionals, people with years and years of experience, people who have also share a secret with you and a job in 3 months. This was what I did that helped me land a job in 4 months. And this is how you can also, navigate the job market so that by the time it's time for you to also go into the job market, you are not lost, you are not stranded. You have so many, you have experience, quote unquote, because you've been able to learn from what other people have experienced as well. And next, we have the interview preparatory sessions. I mentioned this earlier. So once you start to apply to jobs, we revamp your CV for you, you're applying to jobs and you land an interview. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter how many interviews you land. You can land 50 interviews and you're able to book a one-on-one interview preparatory session with a professional here at Analytics, and that person will prep you 50 times. It doesn't matter how many times you need an interview prep, right? We're here to prepare you. So what that means is we basically conduct a mock interview for you or an interview simulation. So we're going to now tell you the likely questions. Oh, Linda, for this interview, these are the kind of questions you should expect. Now, if the recruiter asks you this question, this is what you should say. This is how you should respond to the question. If they ask you this question, this is the project you should bring up. This is the framework you should use to answer your question, your SIT approach, your STAR approach. Now, all of these things are things that help people land jobs. We move on to the job reference and recommendation letter. So you land a job, they ask you to provide a reference, someone to vouch for you and vouch for your integrity and say that, yes, you are who you say you are. You can 100% put our name down and we will provide a reference letter for you. Now, number 6 is not really a popular service, but it's still on the table. So if you need on-the-job support, okay, you land a job, your first 1 month, you get some tasks. You're like, oh my God, I don't know how to go about it. I don't know what to do. Now, you can always come back to us here at Analytics, book a one-on-one session with a professional, and we will guide you. Now, we're not going to execute that task for you, but we're going to teach you how you can do it so that if you get a task again in the future, because we don't just like giving people fish, we're also going to teach you how to fish. So if you get a similar task in the future, you know exactly how to handle it. Next, we have weekly mentorship sessions, like the name implies, mentorship sessions that happen every single week to get you in the right headspace. And finally, last but not the least, we have the Upwork optimization session. So this is for people who are looking to, freelance. You don't just want to work for one organization. You want to also be able to get different side gigs and contract jobs here and there. We're also going to teach you how you can optimize your Upwork profile. Now, it doesn't end there. All right. You also have access, VIP access to a personalized learning AI assistant called Oluko. Oluko in Yoruba means teacher. Now you have an AI, your personal AI assistant, yours, it is yours, that can help you, prepare you for interviews, help you while you're studying, you're trying to understand something. You can simply ask Oluko, and now this is not ChatGPT that everybody on the internet can use. This is something that is limited, all right? Only the 1% of the 1% get to use Oluko. Only participants of the 10 analytics programs get to use Oluko. And of course, you can see a job tracker. This is a snapshot of, a weekly job tracker. When we get all of these exclusive jobs that we pay for, how we send them to you, you're able to see if the job offers sponsorship, the location of the job, the company, and the link to apply to the job. So as much as you're out there looking for jobs, we're also sending you links to exclusive jobs that you can apply to. Now, there's still so many people thriving after Analytics. Again, make sure to fill the attendance form so you can take your time and go through every single person's testimonial. Oh, sorry. You can see that it's linked. I just clicked on a link now and to open up the testimonial for you. So you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure to fill the link to the attendance form. We have so many of them here. So many of them. All right. But now let's just keep to the good part. If you have been listening to me from beginning to end, I want to see how many people are left for everybody. So I just want to know the people that I am giving this good news to. All right, now let's come closer. Some people have left, so they're going to miss out on this. Now, if you are interested, if this sounds like something that you're interested in doing, right? You want to become an Agile project manager. You're ready to take this leap. You're ready to leave what you currently do, to get into tech. You're ready to get your earning power from point A to point B. You also want to earn in 6 figures, in dollars or in Canadian dollars or in pounds. This is for you. Our next class starts on the 8th of November, which is next month. Now, registration is ongoing. In fact, it is about to close. Now, my colleagues are going to be dropping the link to the to registration with on the chat shortly, but I'm also going to walk you through how you can register. Again, this is not for everybody, and I'm going to explain. You can see that I started whispering. Now, the Agile Project Management Program here at Analytics is priced at 1,000 US dollars. So I'm going to say it's in 3 different currencies. 1,000 US dollars, 820 pounds. And if we have anybody here joining from Nigeria, about 1.6 million naira. But because you made it to this session, you are eligible for a 25% discount. Now, it's not for everybody again. They're limited slots. The 25% discount is only available to the next 15 people to make payment. So the slot was available to 20, but right before the session, 5 people registered. We have 15 slots left. All right, 15 people get to pay 750 US dollars or 615 pounds. All right, now not to worry. If I did not mention your currency, you are still able to pay in your local currency. All right. When I walk you through what the site looks like and how to go about registration, you actually see the payment plan in your local currency. So just give me a bit. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and reshare just to show you what that looks like. Give me a minute to pull that up. So not to worry, I'm still here with you. And remember, you're going to be able to pay in your local currency. I'm just giving some people time to also drop off because like I said, this is not something that is open to everybody. It's just the first 20 people to register. Out of the 20 people, 5 already registered. So we have 15 slots left. So I'm going to show you what that looks like shortly. Let me share my screen once again. Now, my colleague Sophia already dropped the link to registration in the chat, but I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. All right, share. So once you click on that link that was dropped in the chat, this is exactly what you're going to see. So I'm just going to reload this so we can see it properly. So you see a list of all the programs we offer here at Analytics. You don't have any business with all these ones right here. You just want to scroll down and identify your program of interest. In your case, it is Agile Project Management, all right? Agile Project Management is right here. Now you want to click on Buy Now. Now it's not enough that we have a discount. You are also able to split your payment for as many as 5 times, all right? So you can decide to pay once, you can pay 2 times, you can pay 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times. Now, once you click on Buy Now, it opens up the program description. Every single thing you need to know about the program, the minimum number of projects you get to work on, the fact that the program is beginner friendly, the course description, every single thing, even the curriculum. You're able to see the curriculum. You can see who your instructors are going to be, the people that are going to be taking you through, this program. Now, once you're done with all of that, right here, on my screen here by the right hand side, you can see enroll now. So you want to click on enroll now. Now, once you do this, you're going to be prompted to create a free account. So it's going to take you less than 1 minute. We just need your full name, your email address, as well as your phone number. So just create a free account, right? And then you'll be able to confirm your enrollment. Now, again, come closer. You can see that the 25% discount has already been applied automatically. All right. So what you can do is you can also select your preferred cohorts. So do you want to start with the next class starting in November? Or if you feel like November is actually going to be a busy month for you, would you like to start in December? Now, the beautiful thing is that you can register ahead in order to utilize the discounts. You don't want to miss out on the discount, so you want to register ahead. Now, if you like to start in December, you can select December right here. And what that means is you're saying, hey, I joined the session. Elizabeth said there was a discount. I don't have time right now to start in November. I'd like to start in December, but I want to secure my spot right now to start so that I don't get to pay too much. Now, again, I said in pounds, the pricing of the program, £820, okay? And with this 25% discount, you get to save £205. Now, where I come from, that's a lot of money. If anybody calls my phone right now and tells me that there's an opportunity to save £100, right, or even £50, I would leap at it. Now you get to save £205, and you're also able to choose a flexible payment option that works for you. So now we have the different payment options right here. You have your full payment, 2 monthly installments, 3 monthly installments, 4 monthly installments, a 5 monthly installment. You're able to pick which is most convenient for you. So say, for example, I pick 5 monthly installments. What I'm saying right now is I heard about the discounts. I know it is £615, but I don't have £615 right now. I have £123. Can I start? And the answer is yes. So with £123, you are able to get into the program. Okay. And what this just means is that if you choose this plan, you're committing to paying £123 every month for 5 months. Now, you're still getting the knowledge that you need, right? You're still getting the assistance. We're still going to work on your CV. It's not like we're going to say, oh, because you chose to pay in installments, we're not going to do this and that for you. No, you are eligible to all of the services as long as you just keep paying every month. Now, it's very possible, imagine you choosing the 5 monthly installments, and in the 4th or in the 3rd month, you land a job and your first paycheck clears the entire bill for this program. That's exactly what I'm telling you right now. So you're able to get in with £123. You just need to click on apply discount. Go ahead to confirm your information. It says saying applying discount right now. Go ahead to confirm your information, right? And then you can see right here. So let me zoom in for the people at the back. Very important that you are able to see. Instead of you paying £164 5 times, you get to pay £123. Okay, and you're able to see the breakdown. You're saving £205. You're able to see the due date of your payments every single month. Now, once you go ahead to confirm your information, you go ahead to pay with your card. Now, like I said earlier, you are going to be seeing the pricing in your local currency. So if you're joining from Canada, you see it in Canadian dollars. If you're in the UK, you see it in pounds. If you're in the US, you see it in US dollars, and so on and so forth. So just like that, you are able to secure your spots for the class starting either in November or in December. Now, do we have any questions? So I just walked you through. Of course, there's so much more on this slide that you can learn from. Okay. So just make sure to fill the attendance form so that you can have access to the slide. There's so much more. You can also see the certificates that you'll be getting upon completion of the training. And 1096 is accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. Of course, you don't have to take my word for it. It is linked right here on the slide. So just make sure to fill the attendance form. Now, I'm also, once again, I'm going to be putting the link to the quiz in the chat so that you know exactly where you fall or where you stand. You know, if you'd like to go for project management, if project management is the best one for you, or any of our other programs would be better. I just put the link in the chat. Make sure to click on that link and, you know, just go ahead to take the quiz. So do we have any questions? I'm going to look in the chat to see if I have any questions before we close out the session. Does anybody have any questions for me? If you have learned or picked up one or two things from this session, I want you to just close out. Now that we're ending the session, I want us to close out the session on a positive and a high note. So I want you to put your favorite emoji in the chat. You can put a thumbs up, you can put a party icon, a heart icon, just put your favorite emoji in the chat. So I know all the people that listen to me right up until this stage, and who knows, maybe you get an extra discount if you do that. But let me see the people that have been with me, the people that stayed till this point. Okay, I see PK. Thank you, PK. PK actually put 3 emojis, not just 1, but 3. Thank you for that, PK. Anybody else? Anybody else? We're rounding up the session. Thank you. Omotayo. Now I know the people that were actually listening to me. Now remember, the discount is only available to the next 15 people. Grab your copy now. We have more than 15 people on this call. Fumilayo says, can I enroll with no prior knowledge as a beginner? 100% yes, Fumilayo, you can. All right, just head over to the link that Sophia's put in the chat. Click on it and go ahead to enroll. You can enroll as, you know, a beginner. That's exactly what we're here for. That's why we're here. We're here to take people from, you know, beginners to professionals, all right? So you don't need any prior knowledge, any prior experience. It doesn't matter your background, whether you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're a farmer, you are a receptionist, you're a dentist, you can enroll, you know, for the project management training as a beginner, and it will not matter at all, all right? Okay, so any more questions for me? So I'm going to take that as a no. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the session, for listening to me up until this very point. Just make sure, once again, to feel, PK says, can I have a one-on-one call with you? Yes, you can. All right. Yes, you can. So right on the site, you're able to also choose if you'd like to speak to a professional, and you can have a one-on-one call with me, but make sure, PK, to go ahead and register first. All right. Now you can register, have a one-on-one call with me. Now, the reason I said that is so that the slots don't get closed up, because if you wait to have a call with me and then after the call you want to go and, you know, enroll, then the slots get closed up. Michael says, is there a difference between PMP and the curriculum? Oh, yes. So I'm not sure what you mean, but the PMP is a professional certification. Now, what our curriculum would help you do is it will help you prepare for your PMP. All right. So the program is not a PMP. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Fumilayo. Fumilayo, you're my namesake, by the way. All right. So thank you, Fumilayo. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, PK. Lydia just put the link to register in the chat. Once again, thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you when I see you, hopefully in class for November, on the 8th of November. I want to see PK in class. I want to see Fumilayo in class so we can start our journey. Linda as well. All right, thank you so much, everybody, and bye for now.